So we are just 6 days away from early signing day. With only 4 spots left open in this class, Miami's looking to finish very strong with a couple of big fish that they want to land before next Wednesday. So with these 4 spots, I have my wish list of who I want Miami to land. So here we go. Number 1, obviously Jake Garcia, the former USC quarterback commit, 6'2.5", 195-pound, great arm, great pro style quarterback. He's ranked number 5 in the country according to 247 right now. No doubt, obviously this would be a great guy to land. Not just because he's a blue chip quarterback for this class, but you already got Tyler Van Dyke last year. You landed De'Ara King this year. You start this trend of recruiting blue chip quarterback after blue chip quarterback, the nation starts to take notice. Okay, and if obviously you want to stack blue chip players at every position, that's what the elite programs like Clemson, Ohio State, and Bama do. But if you can do it at quarterback, I mean, that's the number 1 position to do it at, especially in today's college football. So that's number 1 for me, Jake Garcia. Number 2, Austin Barber. He's an offensive lineman who Garen Justice has had his eye on for a long time. He's 6'7", 300 pounds. He's got an insane size and physique to him. Great athlete, and I'm hearing that his skill set's still a little raw, but tons of room to grow, and his ceiling is very high. I mean, at 6'7", 300 pounds as a 17-year-old, that's insane. That's a guy that you can have in your class and really anchor this line for the next 3 to 4 years. Number 3, and I don't want to butcher it, so the USC linebacker who recently entered the transfer portal, according to the highlights I've watched, this is how the announcers pronounce his name. Palae Nyote Ote. He's a 6'2", 250-pound, heat-seeking missile of a linebacker. If you've watched his tape, how can I describe this? If you're a baseball fan, there's this saying that certain guys, the ball just sounds different coming off their bat. Well, Nyote Ote, whenever he hits somebody, it just sounds different and it feels different. So that's a guy that's bringing size, speed, athleticism, and experience. So that's a guy that you can plug in and maybe even vie for a starting role next year. That's someone I would love to have on this team. And from what I see, brings a little bit of a mean streak, at least what I see on tape. So that's number 3 for me, Nyote Ote. And number 4, this might be the one I'm most excited about because I think we have a realistic shot at landing him, is Mason Smith. 5-star defensive tackle out of Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken, Louisiana, and he's the number 2 defensive tackle in the nation. We already landed the number 1 defensive tackle in the nation from Palmetto Senior High. That would be Leonard Taylor. So 6'5", 318 with room to grow, and you put him next to Leonard Taylor and behind guys like Nesta Jade Silvera, Jared Harrison Hunt. Oh, and by the way, Elijah Roberts, shout out to him. He got a forced fumble in the Duke game. We're all of a sudden starting to stack defensive tackles along with stacking defensive ends. So I'm very excited about the potential for this defensive line. Whether or not we add him, I mean, again, this is like my fantasy wish list. But if we add him, look out. This defense is going to be nasty the next few years. Now, before you yell at me, yes, I know I did not mention a corner. The reason why, and again, this is my, like, all the stars are aligned perfect scenario list of guys that I want. But say we don't get one of them and we get a corner instead, we get like a Jaden McBurrows or something, great. I'll be very happy. I like Jaden McBurrows. And yeah, could we use another corner? Absolutely. But I don't think we are in dire need of corners. And here's why. Going into next year, this of course is assuming Al Blades, God willing, everything turns out okay for him. He's dealing with myocarditis, as we all know by now, and he's out for what I read for 3 months for any football activity. So he will miss the rest of the season, but hopefully by next year he will be healthy and ready to go. You have Al Blades, you have DJ Ivy, both seniors, both very experienced, and I think they both improved as the season went on. You got Corey Couch, who I think is the best corner on this team, and I believe will be a junior next year. You got Isaiah Dunson, who got some playing time this year, and from what I see, he's a nice open field tackler. And then you got Marcus Clark, who looked very good in the Duke game, got his first interception, got some valuable playing time there. And if you all remember, during the scrimmages in the offseason, he got a couple of takeaways, played very well. ran a few reps with the starters. I like that kid, and I think he's got a bright future. So right there's 5 very capable guys that can play. Beyond that, this is your break glass in case of emergency scenario. You've got Avante Williams, who people have talked about maybe playing a little bit of slot corner. He's versatile. If you need, I mean, not ideal. You want him at his natural position, but if you need to, you can put him at corner. Gilbert Frierson, same thing. Not the most ideal thing. He's been dominating at striker, but if you have an emergency where a couple guys go down, you can move him over to corner. He's proven he can play that position. I remember there was one moment in the Clemson game where he had to cover a guy running down the sideline, and he went stride for stride with him and knocked the ball away. So that is a position he can play. And at striker, we're going to be okay regardless. You got Keontre Smith, who balled against Duke. He had a great game. And you got Chase Smith coming in, who's a prototypical striker. He's your striker of the future. So I think we'd be okay there. And that's my list. Those are the 4 guys that I would want, and I think they would make this roster instantly better. Again, Jake Garcia, Austin Barber, Palaie Naioteote, and Mason Smith. What are your thoughts? Disagree with me? Think I'm crazy? Totally agree with me? Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Until next time, it's all about the U. Go Canes.